I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM Playaz, and it's a Thursday unlike any other.
Other than the day itself, which is like every other.
Yeah, I like that. Yes, it is Thursday afternoon. It is actually 80 degrees and sunny out here. It's just really
Yeah, I think it's cooler here. It's high 60s.
But anyway, we are the CRM Playaz, and we've been doing this as thing since 2009, apparently.
Oh man, that one just went borderline really close when you just said what you said.
I made sure I had the zip.
Yeah, it was starting to sound a little bit like.
No, I'm gonna make. We can't have that issue.
Yeah, it went.
Well,
you went border on that one.
It would be very bad if we were to do that. But anyway, speaking of things that are not bad but actually good, I don't even know what just happened there, but I know this is gonna happen. The moment is Finn.
Ooh, oh. We're back in the world of Estonian or Finnish or something like that. Well, maybe not actually. Sort of the accents over and above. I'm gonna have to ponder this one.
While you ponder that, as
right, I told you it was too close.
It was bring the as, whatever that is. That's what we apparently bring.
Wow, this one's tough.
It looks similar to something else.
No, that's the thing, but it's sort of borderline between like the Finnish, Estonian kind of language set, and on the other hand, could also be some permutation of like Turkish too. See, that's the thing. It's kind of in between. Makes it really tough.
Oh, see, Finn is giving you a hint there.
Well, I know it's I mean I know I'm in the Finnish Estonian side is where I'm going on this one, but
the Finnish Estonian side, is that what?
Finnish is that's
no, the Finnish is
I'll you know what, I'll throw Estonian in, but only because this doesn't quite look like Finnish to me. It may be, but I'll go with Estonian anyway. Even if I'm wrong, I'm close, and I know that.
So he's going with Estonia, Finn. So now it's look, even Rebecca is getting in on this. She's going with Norwegian. What about Patrick? Patrick, have a guess there, Rebecca? Let us know. All right, Finn. So we're waiting with bated breath. Although I don't exactly know what bated breath is. Do you know what bated breath is, by the way?
I think bated breath. I think it has something to do with like that.
That's bated breath. That's more like a gasp.
No, okay. I mean, it's just a holding it. Northern Sami.
What the hell is that?
Not know.
Northern
He's gone to dialects.
Where is Northern Sami at?
It's a dialect, I'm pretty sure.
Please tell us more. I have no idea what the I would have been more in the line with wolf.
It's across Norway, Sweden, and Finland. Finno-Ugric branch of the Uralic family.
So you had some of that. You had
Finno-Ugric. That's what it is.
I would think that you would get points for that one, since you did mention Finn.
Well, I was in the right ballpark, and I knew it was a Finnish derivative, but I didn't seem to be Finnish.
It's finished now.
Yeah, well, I'll be here all week.
I won't. Anyway. All right. Well, I'm gonna give you credit for that one, because
I'm gonna give Sven some credit. He's digging deep now and he's getting there.
I still would like to know Northern
challenging stuff, man.
All right, he says Northern Sami.
So I looked up the same.
That's like somebody's nickname. Hey, there goes Northern Sami.
Finish.
Northern Sami is the largest Sami language. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but
Sami.
Spoken by roughly 20,000 to 25,000 people across the northern regions of Norway, Sweden, and Finland.
What did you have for lunch? I had Sami salami.
Why is Bob barking at us? What is going on here, Bob?
Patrick, maybe?
Yeah, but you can't be taking Patrick's answers. That's not good.
No.
That is definitely not good. All right. So I'm gonna give you credit for that one. That was
Thank you.
because I heard the word Finnish.
I was in the right family of languages, which is what I was saying. Really, I knew that's why I went with Estonian, because I knew it was the family, but I didn't know it didn't seem to be core Finnish. It seemed to be some derivative of Finnish, and I couldn't. Northern Sami, I would never have gotten it, but I was at least, to Sven's point, so close.
But yet so far. No, I'm just kidding. You get it. You get it. So that's great. Oh. Thanks to Sven. Sven is really up. 2026 has been the year of Sven.
You're not kidding. He's upped his game, man. I'm impressed, man. Sven, I got to tell you, the moment of Sven at IRL 2026, Klingon, that was a classic. That was a genuine classic. I mean, you couldn't have had a better choice for that. And it was almost frightening that Kim, what was her name?
Rometto.
Kim Rometto got it in 1 second.
You know what? What was even more impressive about that she actually works for a sports team.
Yeah.
Us sports kind of guys, we're not really that heavily into the Klingon stuff, but she was right on it. So
yeah, I would, if somebody had said it, I would have gotten it right, because it's got that distinct kind of clucking sound. But
yeah, I'm glad she didn't do any clucking.
Well, it's not a real language anyway. It's really not a real language. So, but it was a brilliant choice. So Sven's on a real roll now.
He is. All right, we got to get on a roll, because
back on our roll.
You know, it is an event unlike any other in the CRM industry. But before we get into it, we do have some housekeeping to do. But I don't know, man. I want to sound like Jim Nance. I guess.
You need to get like ABC Wide World of Sports or whatever.
Oh, man, when I was a kid growing up, I used to love the beginning of Wide World of Sports with the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, and that dude going down the ski. Oh man, that was,
I love that.
That was rough.
That was one of the best.
I never even questioned was that guy all right? I mean, did he? I hope he was all right. But
it was the agony of the broken arm.
Yeah, that was some serious agony.
The broken leg, the broken arm, and the cracked skull.
Oh, well, let us hope that he had a nice, speedy recovery from the agony of defeat. Anyway, so before we get going, we do have a couple of housekeeping items. I'm feeling a little comfortable now with that. All right, coming 2 weeks from, well, I guess that was yesterday, April 15th. Ron Miller, formerly of TechCrunch, he spent like a decade covering enterprise tech at TechCrunch, and he recently, over the last couple of years, started his own newsletter called Fast Forward. It comes out every Friday. It's great. Well, if you know Ron at all from his previous work, he's doing the same thing, but now he actually has a little bit more freedom to go places where he wants to go and write about things and cover things that he wants to cover. And so that's what he's doing with Fast Forward. And we are really excited to partner with Ron on his very first podcast. Did you know that? His very first video show. We like show. We like to say show. So starting in less than 2 weeks now, it's called Fast Forward on PPN. I mean, that took a lot of analysis, and we hired some serious.
We hired 2 agencies to compete.
We did, and they came up with Fast Forward on PPN. But anyway, seriously, we're looking forward to that one.
And we're homeless as a result of the cost.
Okay. We don't want to be homeless. One last thing before we move on to the event.
There will be an announcement next week on Rated PG or Peach or the time and date of the first show with should be the guest too.
And we just want to mention one more time, we actually have a publishing arm. It's called PPN Publishing. I'm glad I didn't butcher it like I did last week, so that's good.
Yeah, but it works. It works.
And our very first author of our very first book that we produced or published, I guess that's the word, is our very own. Wow, that's a lot of R's, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Our very own Anand Thakur, who some might know as the Midas of Martech, others might know of the what I call him, the golden smog of CRM.
Yep.
He's also the voice of PPN, but he's also extremely into the whole VC PE spot. He works for a lot of those different companies, but he's also a gamer, and he wrote a book called Multiplayer Mode, where he extracts lessons that come from his gaming experiences that he thinks that B2B enterprises could really leverage to build great engagement with their customers. So
yeah, I mean, it actually goes through and the legitimate ways of driving value, actual value, which he actually you'll actually see a pyramid, a value pyramid that he puts in, and he has he has a way of showing you how to use those lessons to from the left brain side. I'm on the right brain side of the game, but from the left brain side to actually gain impact and value from applying these approaches, techniques, methods, and even kind of looks at the way you look at certain things. So it's really a worthwhile book, and it's not long. It's 70 plus pages.
And okay, I think if you use that QR code, you could go right to pick it up. And is it still like whatever you want to pay? Is that how it is?
Yeah, right, the way it's set up is that you're welcome to download it for free, but it also does say if you're willing to donate, please do. And ultimately, that's how PPN Publishing will support PPN Publishing, right? So, be generous, but it's
but just be generous. Yeah. That's the good way to end it.
It's your book either way.
Yeah. All right.
Absolutely.
So be on the lookout for that. That's a good thing. All right. So I believe this started about 5 years ago. Just a conversation. We already knew the person that was going to be joining us, and we both liked them, independent of each other.
Right.
We just both. I have a story that I don't even know if he'll remember this, but he this is like maybe 10. It's hard to believe it's about 10 years ago. The PR folks and the AR folks had said he was going to be coming to Atlanta, and he had some time, and they wanted to know if I wanted to get together with him like around lunchtime. I was like, absolutely, this is cool. Yeah, absolutely. And when you traditionally you get that kind of opportunity to sit down and talk with someone like Alan Trefler, you tend to think there's going to be like handlers, like there's going to be some PR folks there, maybe some AR folks, some lawyers. I don't know. You never know. It was just him and me and like having just a regular conversation. We were talking about all sorts of industry stuff, and he was just keeping it real, and I couldn't believe it. And I was recording this. We were outside having lunch. I almost forgot I was recording this, and then after this great conversation, I went back, check out the recording. You know what I heard? This is like early in my like gear days. You know what I heard?
Oh no!
Because it was this windy day out there.
Oh,
every time he starts saying something really cool, like this wind gust. So it might have been the best conversation I ever had with a CEO/founder person in our industry, and absolutely no one will ever hear it. So, but it was great. I tell you, it was great.
A very inspiring story and really sad.
It is really sad, but luckily we have lots of other stories because about 4 years. So this will be year 5.
Yeah.
Because it was like right after things started to open up with the pandemic. Luckily, PegaWorld came back, and we had a chance to, before we went to that PegaWorld, had a chance to do a conversation with Alan Trefler to kind of lead up to it. And I think we just started calling it Our Road to PegaWorld.
Yeah.
And conversation just went so good, at least from our perspective. We were like, yeah, we enjoyed it. I hope he did. It actually led to him coming back the next year. Matter of fact, let me show you what we got here. This is the first year we did it. and the look on his face was a bit menacing.
Yeah, I remember we were scared.
I was kind of
scared. Knew the guy, and we were frightened.
Yeah, I had never seen that side of him before. So that was our promo for the very first year. Notice there's no road to PegaWorld. It's just Alan get ready to move a chess piece there. Next year, apparently we had breakfast with him. We did a show in the morning. Do you remember that?
No, I don't. To me, we always do it on Thursday at 3, and every show I thought was then, but look at that, Wednesday at 9.
No, the first one was Tuesday. Then we got to Wednesday.
We're moving into
now in 2024. We finally got it right. It was on a Thursday.
Look how much better that looks too. The whole thing.
It does look good. It does look good. But it wasn't until last year that we had the Road to PegaWorld on there. Ironically, Alan looks the exact same in every one of these promos.
Hasn't aged a day.
And then today, look at he looks so happy. He's got a chess piece in his hand, and
night.
And we're on the road to PegaWorld 26.
That is amazing, right? The company's been around 42 years now?
Something like something like that.
2 years.
So what
was 17 and he's been on 42.
Yeah. So last year I kind of put a little what do you call that? Like a mashup or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
It was really good. I've forgotten how good it was. So in honor of this being the 5th time he's coming back, I'm gonna play this. I added a little something. Let me see if you know what I added to this. So here is
recent one, whatever it is.
Well, it's not necessarily just one of your senses that will pick up on this. It might be more than one. All right, so this is a little collage we had put together, and I made a little enhancement to the collage because it is a new year. So here we go.
I've done a little something that I don't think we've done for any other guests, since this is the 4th time in a row that he's done this, and it is an event unlike any other. I just really like saying that. I don't know why, but I have taken a liberty to put together a little highlight reel.
Whoa!
We like to call the best of Alan Trefler.
The highlight reel within a highlight reel.
The Grand Master in chess when he was younger, and you can see that if you made a wrong move, he would eat you alive by this picture.
You think I was gonna bite that hand on that?
I was frightened. Just looking at the clips from 2021 and 2022. Alan, have you left that room in 3 years? Of this?
It's a nice room. What can I say?
Was your Uncle Filbert, was he the precursor to the scientists in Back to the Future?
I think that there was some inspiration taken from that.
Did your brother, was he always a big snacker? Because in pieces of that clip, every time you turn around and they focus back to you and your brother, he was always eating something different.
The irony now is I'm the guy who needs to lose a few pounds and got himself into perfect shape. So much has changed in the last, frankly, in the last 30-something years. But the thing that hasn't changed is that the way that most companies use technology is just too primitive and too backwards. If you look at other industries, for example, look at computer-aided design and manufacturing. So you look at the creation of actual goods, it's come unbelievably in the last 35 years. In software, it's all BS. We've made it harder and more complicated to engage customers or build back-end systems or hook it all together. And we've been very careful, unlike a lot of companies in this business, to not just go out and acquire a bunch of crap. When we buy something as a company, it's because it's consistent with that end-to-end vision. My first 2 customers who went live in 1984, God forbid, are still customers to this day.
Metaverse, is this something that people should be focused on in the near term, in the long term, at all?
I think that the key part of that phrasing is averse.
That still gets me, man.
All right. That was very interesting.
Multiverse, man.
But did you know what was different this year that I added?
Play his flashback.
No, not that. The music from the Masters.
I was. Wow. Oh, good. Copyright violations.
Well, that's why we had Alan talking over it the whole time. So
No, I was so focused on the visuals, but the flashback thing's really good. I like that.
oh, I love the flashback, and guess we'll be doing flashbacks for years because guess who's with us today? And I know there's some. I know this is going to be a big surprise to everybody, but is the CEO and founder of Pega Systems? We like to say Pega. Alan Trefler is back.
Oh, and a new room.
Man, he's not in that same room. Look at that.
Wow. Hey, how you doing, sir?
I escaped from that room.
They let him out. I sure they didn't let you out. You know, gotta be careful.
Fall through the window. Yes.
Well, first off, thanks again for this is the fifth one in a row. I mean, who would have thought that first conversation would lead to a tradition unlike any other?
Right. I mean, this is like Thanksgiving every year.
Well, it is a treat. I also have a real fun fact for you. That guy on the agony of defeat, apparently he walked away from it.
He did?
Whoa.
Wow.
That's what they said. They said they wouldn't have used it if it had ended like it looked. So
I'd be calling that the
feel
thrill
a
of
little
victory.
better now.
I feel a little better now. I can enjoy it.
You know
even
what?
more so now.
If he walked away from it, I'd call that the thrill of victory.
Yeah, because that was quite the
I mean,
spill.
that was oh my God, it was like nightmare fall. So I got a question for you, and it's like, so now we have AI. You know, you said in one of the clips or way back on how everything, you know, we make things harder than it needs to be, et cetera, et cetera. And now we have the advent of AI. Are things still harder than they need to be?
Well, we're in a moment of tumultuous and really, I think, in many ways, unprecedented change. The industries are changing, customers' expectations are changing, and I think there's so much noise and hype. It's hard, not because the technology is still hard, because I think it's gotten in many ways a lot more straightforward, but the noise in the business system is so loud. I think it's really hard for people to figure out what's real and what isn't.
So,
I know one thing that I'm going to put up because I was checking out your LinkedIn there, and you had posted this a couple weeks ago about this article on what coding looks like in the age of AI, and I see you talking a lot about this aspect. Matter of fact, combining the two of these things, I actually took, because this is just like a paragraph. You wrote a long post around this, and so what I decided to do. Take your post and actually feed it into Gemini, and and this is what Gemini made. I put a picture of you in there, so this is why it looks kind of like you. I think they did a pretty good job with the likeness there. I told them to animate you.
Well, it's a little small on the screen. I can't really
Oh, well. So what you said, because this is the quote. It said AI isn't the replacement for software development. It is the accelerator. And if the design is thoughtful, we can build better, faster, and with far more humanity at its center. Talk a little bit about that, please.
Go Gemini. That's really a very, very sensitive statement coming from an AI. Look, historically, there have been lots of impediments to business people and customers getting what they want and what they need. And what AI has enabled us to do, particularly with this super powerful use of it we call Blueprint, is to let customers completely reimagine the way they want their businesses to work. And basically take the outcomes that are desired, compare them against our best practices that we've built over all those decades, go out to the internet, see what the internet thinks best practices are, and actually create a whole new way to envision and run your business. And I just think it's super exciting.
So how does it, so you now have something with, obviously AI is just it's mainstream, even in the world of the consumer, they're using it for things ranging, from shopping to whatever. And then you have now with Claude Code and co-work and things like that, people are using it for productivity. They're using it for coding. but they're using it for complex tasks. They're using it for simple, knowledge requests. So, but it's become just a mainstream part of how people run their, do things in their life. That said, you've had Blueprint now for what? This is the 4th year or the 3rd year?
Well, it really came onto its own the beginning of last year.
Okay.
That's when it really hit a critical mass. And, since then, we've actually had a couple of 100,000 blueprints created, which for us is a mind-blowing number there. And the level of enthusiasm I see is palpable. I see customers really feeling like this is doing something for them that they couldn't have done themselves. And part of it is, there's AI that you can use as a knowledge worker to go research something, to learn something, to be creative, and that can be tremendous. But there's also AI that wants to be harnessed and be able to bring together the right sort of practices. And that's what we've put our huge amount of work into, is figuring out how to capture the best practices into this blueprint so that it could then work collaboratively with the customer to help them really figure out what they need and how to do it differently.
Have you made, and again, I haven't seen the most recent iterations of Blueprint. I saw the earlier ones, but have you made it more? Does it have memory? Does it have, does it have the things that kind of needs to continue a relationship with an individual that's working with it, or is it built around, let's say, a singular project?
No, the blueprint is built around, typically you can think of it as being built around a project, and you do get to go back to it. You do get to invite other people to collaborate on it, and it really becomes a vehicle for the ongoing use of AI to improve things. But the really cool thing, and we're going to be showing off some of these special features at that PegaWorld thing you were talking about, is we've added what's called vibe coding capabilities to Blueprint.
You did?
Yeah. So you can now literally talk to your Blueprint, tell it what you want to be different. The AI will come back with multiple recommendations, and then the AI will go ahead and deliver what you ask for. It is actually, I think, shocking. And it really changes your view of what's possible.
I know one of the things we've been seeing at events or watching on some of these keynotes is kind of the transformation about how companies are looking at their architecture. They're calling it their AI architecture or stack or whatever you want to call it. And at one point before it became AI-ified, I don't know if that's even a word. No, maybe it is now.
It is now.
But system of record was the thing. Everybody, because that's where the factual stuff is, and everybody kind of focused in on that. But we started seeing as people updated their architecture decks, we're not seeing the system of record in the way it was before. Some companies are talking about it as this system of context. And then there was one that talked about it, system of innovation, but it all stems from all this other kinds of data, which helps to create more context that helps the factual side, which is a system of record, actually become even more meaningful because of the metadata that's coming around. And that adds the context that you can place beside the system of record. How are you guys kind of looking at all the architecture and the terms and the verbiage around context?
So I think that systems of record become leaner in many ways and less sort of monolithic, which was always one of the enormous architectural weaknesses. But what you're really seeing here is that people realize that they need to wrap their systems of record in workflows that actually get stuff done. And that's what Pega does. We're a system that manages the workflows and decisions associated with them. And particularly in a world where you have this agentic AI, where you want to be able to empower AI to do things, you can do that in a couple of ways. Some people are just kind of letting the AI loose on their systems of record. And we think that's not a very good idea, because businesses have to run predictably, and they should be able to explain what they're going to do before they do it. And so to do that, we think you got to use the AI at design time. Don't just throw it in to the production system. Use the AI at design time to figure out what an optimal set of business processes are, what the criteria you're going to use, and then at runtime, you execute those to the extent you can. And you use the AI at runtime just to do translation and semantics, or to do something that you couldn't do at design time. Pega really uniquely draws this design time use of AI and our runtime use of AI into very, very well-established patterns. And I think that sets our customers up for a level of success and reliability that the others just can't match.
Well, I will tell you, I mean, one thing I know about Pega was, I think, to my knowledge, and I think my knowledge is pretty accurate, you were the first company to even talk about autonomous systems at all, right, in any substantial way. In fact, I remember me and Jeff Nicholson doing a presentation on stage in like 2016 at the tail end of the PegaWorld on that, and that was 2016, right?
Yeah, no, we believed in this sort of autonomous, we believed in, AI driven and smart systems. And what's happened now is it's really gotten superpowers as a result of the introduction of generative AI, which is, for example, what the Blueprint brings to it. But we shouldn't discount the use for statistical AI. You may remember that in 2010, we acquired a company called Cordiant because of their great expertise in statistical models. And we wanted to be able to add that to the work we were managing and the work we were doing. And what I'll tell you is that statistical AI and generative AI beautifully complement each other, because you get to learn from math, statistical, and you get to apply creativity, which is what the generative does. And that's what we're going to be showing off at PegaWorld. I think you'll see a lot you like.
One of the things because I remember you talking about optimization around design versus running real time in production and all that kind of stuff. Talk about how that not only helps in terms of doing things as opposed to just talking about things, but also how does that go in helping you control pricing? Because that's still one of those things we're hearing a lot about from customers is about, I'm afraid to use some of this stuff because I'm afraid I'm going to get this big check at the end of the day.
Well, by using the AI at design time and by doing it in Blueprint, which we've made free to our customers, so we pay for the AI that they use when they're doing blueprints. At runtime, we're able to really use much less of the AI particularly in unpredictable ways. And we're able to predictably use the AI to just attach something you might be saying to what the right workflow is in your inventory. That is an incredibly cost-effective and environmentally friendly way to use AI. When I see these people who are creating these prompts in these prompt studios and writing pages of instructions to a large language model that get re-executed over and over and over again, we know that's part of what's destroying the planet, because that's really grinding all of these power plants and requiring these massive data centers because they're not doing it in an efficient way. Being able to figure it out and then, where possible, repeat it is something that I just think makes perfect sense. And, if you run into something you don't expect, you can always fire up the AI again at runtime. But 99.9% of the time, something you do for a customer is really something that you probably did the week before. Mm-hmm. So don't keep reinventing it. And I know that, you're nodding. So, that sounds, I think, incredibly sensible. It just blows me away how few people get it.
Well, that is
like the metaverse.
Yeah.
By the way, I do love the fact you got me to say a verse there. That was
literally we literally consider that arguably one of the greatest moments in the history of this show. I am not kidding. And then you realize that we found out the other day from Vala Offshore, because I certainly didn't realize, we're the longest running CRM show, 17 years, right? So, pales by comparison to 42 years, right? But at the same time. And again, your quote might be the best thing that was ever said on the show.
Well, at the time it was a little unfashionable because everybody was thinking that we'd be running around with our, virtual reality goggles and dancing in that metaverse. And you could just tell if you really looked at it that the promise was not going to have its check cash, let's say.
You didn't go out and get some goggles,
Well, I actually did. I got an Oculus Quest. I will say, playing ping pong on the Oculus is not exactly the same as playing it in real life.
No. How about chess? Do you play chess on the Oculus?
I haven't.
Can you?
I haven't. But there's no shortage of chess programs today that can beat any human being. So
Have you played chess against AI and won?
Well, back when it was young and crippled.
Now that it's grown up and fully realized, I guess that's the
The reality is that the some of the AI programs that are out there, some of the chess programs that are out there, are staggeringly highly rated, and it's true that
I mean, like Chess Federation rating thing.
I'm sorry,
like an actual Chess Federation rating.
Yeah, they get rated. You can rate them according to Chess Federation standards, and they're like 1,000 points higher than the best human being. The best human beings are 2,800 rating, and the chess programs are in the 3,000s, which is truly humbling.
What do you have? Are you rated?
Yeah, I was 2,300 where I was playing.
Holy crap,
man!
I mean, I'm not much of a chess player at all, but I do. I've watched a bunch of people play literally, and I've understood the ratings. That's insane. 2,300 is huge. Have you ever lost? I actually have a question on this because I know every year you've done your thing where you're playing multiple people, and
it's really impressive.
At PegaWorld. Have you ever lost?
Ooh. Oh, each year, I typically play 15 to 20 games, and each year, I consider it a good event if I lose one and draw one and win the rest. But it's hard to keep that level of accuracy when you're playing at pace and drinking beer.
Yeah, I was going to say I've got actually some footage from last year of you doing it, and it is really impressive to see how he just moves from station to station. Does this a couple of times, takes a sip, take a little step back when somebody makes an interesting move. Then he'll get in. It's really cool to see. Maybe I'll try to do a little bit more of that next year.
If you'd like, we'll reserve you a spot.
No. That won't be necessary. But why don't we talk about something that seems to be on a lot of people's attention around the AI and these corporate layoffs, and a lot of people are starting to feel like AI. We even did at our event. We have this little clip of Jim Cramer from CNBC losing his mind because the jobs report came in lower than expected, and all these companies are announcing layoffs. And he said, all right, it's here. The AI economy is here. Are your customers expressing any type of questioning around what's going on, how they should be approaching this? How does AI work with employees versus is it replacing employees?
Look, I think that we're in early days in some ways, and it's still emerging. But to my mind, there's no question that there will be serious dislocations and relocations in the job market. It just has to happen. And the AI provides a capability for some people to do their jobs much better. But some jobs have been already largely superseded. Language translation used to be something that we would translate our documentation into half a dozen languages, and people would complain that it would take us a couple months to do that after we shipped a release. Now everything comes out, and you can just get it in any language you want. Yeah. Blueprint operates in 14 languages.
Yeah. Look, I mean,
it's good. It's really good. So this does have massive impacts, I think.
That little translation thing actually is really interesting. Brent and I have this. It's like a little device on the back. You can literally take this thing. Actually, the first time we used it seriously was in the one-to-one with you at PegaWorld last year. We recorded it, right? And it separated out the recordings. But the interesting thing is, relative to translation, it does a complete transcript, and it's an accurate transcript. And we can instantly translate it into any one of 63 languages, just like that.
So look, that opens up doors that didn't exist before. So it's really good for a lot of people. But if your skill in life was being a translator,
interpreter,
there's no way that doesn't seriously threaten many aspects of that profession.
Have you had anything internally where you found jobs that would say no longer human necessary, that you've also at the same time you've figured out how to reskill some of the people? Have you done that already?
We're changing the way we do a lot of things internally, including using AI to help diagnose problems in customer issues. What it does is, it speeds up our response to our clients. We still believe you need a human in service in many of the cases, but being able to have that facilitated by doing some pre-analysis with AI is enormously helpful. And does this affect hiring and jobs? Of course it's going to, but there's so much opportunity that comes out of it as well, that we need to be able to just have a sensible balance.
Do you think there is, when you think of like the race for AI supremacy or hegemony or whatever you want to call it, where does regulation fit in? And do you think it should be regulated at the federal level or at the state level?
So I think whatever regulations have to happen at a federal and national level, because otherwise it's just going to be too hard for people to operate in concert with the laws. People access systems across state boundaries all the time, and it both gets very awkward and it can be very expensive if different states have different rules. So I think it's important that there be some regulation, but it be at a federal level.
So if you're looking ahead a little bit, let's say next year when you're coming on the show, or 2 years from now when you're coming on the show, where do you see AI then? I mean, one of the things that really struck me, we were talking about this a little at our happy hour yesterday. I had this weird, I use Claude a lot. I'm doing big home automation projects. Helps me build all the dashboards. It's like 6,000 lines of code right now, that is built for me. But because there's no way in hell I could have done that using Terminal all the time, right? So, and telling me what to do. That said, I asked a very simple question of Claude, just because I saw this choir on Britain's Got Talent clip on YouTube that had this stunning voice. And I said, what happened to him? And Claude basically said, well, they came in second on Britain's Got Talent to a dog act. And then Claude was like kind of outraged about it and actually said that
it got mad. Really?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It actually had an opinion. And I said, well, what if I had said I liked the dog act? I said I probably would have tried to figure out what was good about it. But honestly, there's nothing even close about how this thing turned out, right? It should have been the choir.
Yeah. So it's one thing when you're talking to it, getting, advice on singing. It's another thing if it's running a part of your business. That's where we think you got to use Claude in the right way. You have to use Claude or Gemini or OpenAI. We use them all.
Here's my question, though. That's not a hallucination. It was an opinion. And it wasn't an opinion I prompted it to give me, right? It just gave me an opinion, which means AI can get to the point where that, to me, was actually super sophisticated response, even though it was a simple thing. But if you're running your business and Claude or whatever AI you have is having an opinion about something in the course of that, where's that going? Because that was a different. This isn't Claude, go do this, right? This is Claude saying, how could they say that, right? I mean, and it said human beings often fail. It said when on decisions, it literally said human beings often fail frequently and spectacularly. Right.
Well, the fact that it has opinions and the fact that it can develop them actually introduces a even scarier topic,
Yes.
which is what if it has a different opinion for one customer
Now that's where I'm going.
than it does for another, right? And in a lot of businesses, you just can't tolerate that. So people need to realize that these are, candidly, they're magical in many ways, but the problem with magic is you can't always explain it. And we're firm believers that you need to be able to explain and understand how your business is going to work before it does something.
Mm-hmm. Before we go forward, we got to get you on the record for something that we've done for 5 years. Are your 2 first customers still on board?
They are.
Wow.
We
So
just had to
42 years now.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, if you want to know what we're super proud of as a company, it's that those first 2 customers who trusted us in 1984 are customers to this day through 5 massive generational changes in the underlying technology. Think how much the tech has changed from those first customers. Ran on IBM CICS and DEC VAX. Kids today wouldn't know what either of those things are.
No.
But the reality is that we've tried to stay very close to where tech is going and always give our customers good choices.
There's something to be said about that, as technology has changed so dramatically over the decades, that you've been able to maintain that kind of relationship. What are the keys to that in the AI world? Because things are moving faster, things are scaling bigger, but yet and still you're able to maintain relationships started in the early 80s. That's not heard of much around now.
You've got to be really agile, and you have to really be externally focused, not looking at yourself, looking at what's going on in the world. But do you know what our tagline is? The sort of phrase we own?
Yep.
Build for change.
Mm.
And we think that is a virtue that we've tried to live. And by making that our tagline, we actually have it copyrighted.
No kidding.
Yeah, check it out. It has a little R next to it. It really, I think, imparts on us an obligation to anticipate and to understand how to bring customers with you.
Well, the other thing that's very noticeable about what you guys are doing, with all the advances you've made and with Build for Change as a tagline, you're still very true to your core. You're literally very true to your core from day one of the business to now. I remember you back when you were, BPM and all that universe, way, way back. And then Cordiant I came into meeting you guys because of the Cordiant acquisition and CRM and so on back then. And all the people who were at Cordiant and we used to.
Wasn't Francis Harden there when that?
Yeah, I think he was. And I think even Ray Gerber was at Cordiant back then.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but you've never really wavered. You've always been centered. And that to me is a real asset, because I've seen people go through these wild swings of business models without any explanation. Again, one of the things I've always thought strong about you was your ability to keep that corporate narrative. I've said that for years, but it's also because you've always remained true to that. Right.
Well, I think it's both important to remain true to a certain core set of values and beliefs, but you also need to be able to pivot super fast. In 2022, when we saw what was changing with the advent of generative AI, this whole blueprint pivot was huge. We really redirected the company, and we said, this is going to give us a chance to remove some of the things that still annoy our customers, make the software easier to use, make it smarter, build our best practices in without having people read thousands of pages of documentation. And it's really doing that. When you ask what's going to happen in 2 years, I think a lot's going to be different in 2 years. It's actually going to be really interesting to see just what happens in this next year.
So
do you have any specific thoughts on what it's going to be even? Or is it just, let's just see?
I think people's expectations are going to go way up because you're going to see what's possible. I mean, what you're going to see when you come to PegaWorld, I'll ask you after you you see the keynotes, but I think it will knock you over. It
Okay.
really is a stunning way to redefine and reimagine a business. And being able to go from being able to like code a business and execute a business to have the AI help you reimagine it,
Mm.
an enormous shift.
Yep.
And we're really excited by it.
Speaking of enormous shifts, we're actually getting ready to segue into what we expect to see. But before we do, I gotta ask you, Don Shorman, he put up this post. Let me see if I can bring this up. That really, he starts talking about PegaWorld Agent Edition. Well,
All agents all the time, baby.
yeah. Why would you want anything like human connection and networking or anything like that? And then I looked.
Yeah, April.
And he
1st.
put it up April 1st. It was April. He's a humorous guy. He is a very humorous.
Oh, he's awesome.
You
You know what our name for him is? We call him Sure Man.
The best part is I don't even think he thought of it. I think his agent did it.
That could be very dangerous because if the agents are starting to think and put that stuff out there, maybe next year there will be an agent edition. All right. So what year, how many actual Pega Worlds have there been if you include the one that's coming up?
Well, we've been doing it for about 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been doing it since the late 90s.
That is absolutely amazing.
It's look, it's a real catalytic event for us. Everybody in the company gets so excited about being able to show what they're working on, show what they're doing, and engage with with clients that I find it's a lot of work, but what it does for the company is great, and the customers love it.
Is it because this is you've been doing it for years and years and years? Is it easier to do it, or is it more difficult as the years go on?
Well, I think some years are easier than others. I mean, the real question is, do you have what sort of good stuff do you have to show?
Right.
In this environment with AI, there's so much to show that in some ways that becomes meaningfully easier, actually.
Well, the other thing you've done so well with PegaWorld is you've made really good human choices, right? I mean, consistently, I know over all these years, I've always found that the best customer presenters are from PegaWorld, and they have been. It's been like at least 4 or 5, 3 or 4, I should say, most memorable customer stories on stage I've heard were all at PegaWorld, and the consistency of how you built it, people, and also you have employees like Don and Tara. Do you know Brent's nickname for Tara?
No.
Brent, why don't you tell him?
Tara DeWow.
She's amazing. I mean, but yet people like that who build into the whole environment and atmosphere of PegaWorld itself. I mean, you can't, it's not just the AI, it's the event itself and the kind of people who populate it. It's a remarkably good event at every level. And believe me, coming from all the events we've gone to, that we can even say anything's a good event.
So many techie companies just want to talk about themselves. And what we really work to do with PegaWorld with the outside speakers is to have a customer come in and tell people what they're trying to achieve and what they ran into, how it worked, how it might have been better, how they expect to use it in the future. And, customer stories, I think, are priceless.
Yes. Yeah. Well, again, the other side, you guys have done exceptionally well on that is you understood that not every, just because they're a customer doesn't mean they're a good speaker. Right. So you've actually got the customers who really know how to get on the stage and really know how to present to actual people. Right. So then I'm telling you, some of the best ever from you guys. Just it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. So what can you tell us about what's going to happen in a couple of months?
Well, what I can tell you is that, the way that people think about changing their business is in the process of markedly changing. the way that people re-envision what they want to do for their customers and how they want to work with their staff internally. We're at a year of what's going to be unprecedented change in here. And it's the use of AI in the right way, the right AI for the right purpose that makes that possible.
How do you get your customers ready to do just that?
You know, you got to talk to them. We had 2 clients come in yesterday, one internationally, one from the US, and being able to spend time with the clients,
Yep.
show them some things, and also you have to make it real for them. You know, it has to speak to their actual real needs, which means that we need to make sure we're investing the time to get to know them.
Well, we got a couple more minutes left. Paul, you got anything before we wrap it up?
Well, I just wanted to make one thing clear, that I'm happy the Red Sox are off to a terrible start. That I'm sorry that the Patriots had a good season, but glad they lost the Super Bowl. And I'm hoping the Knicks beat the Celtics.
You know, I would expect no less from you, Paul.
Thank you. I just wanted to be, we can't leave those things unsaid.
That is true. I'm so glad you brought it. Because the one thing, there a couple of years back at the analyst session the night before PegaWorld started, you have all, like Don and Rob and a number of folks are presenting. And I will never forget this. This was a Sunday night during the Celtics were in the NBA Finals. And as Don is trying to present to us, this is awesome. I could see he had his phone at a strategic position to be able to keep track of what's going on with the game while still presenting about all this AI stuff. I had to give him credit for that.
I was about to say, we kind of appreciated that. We did appreciate that.
It really was something I couldn't help but I had to admire. I had to give him some credit for. So there you go.
It sounds like you busted him, so that's good.
All right. So last question. What do you want folks that come to PegaWorld 26? What do you want them to take away and go home and do after they experience it?
I want them to understand how using AI right can help them materially change their business and to really raise their expectations, but at the same time, make those expectations real.
Yeah. And there you got all the Boston sports fans have come out of the woodwork.
All of a sudden, we get
oh my God.
Boston sports fans
back to back. Ugh.
Well, I can't see the comments, but I'm glad that they're stepping up.
Well, you should be able to see them.
Well, he's in a new studio. It looks like so.
You've seen StreamYard, right?
We'll figure it out later. But Alan, first of all, thanks for doing this 5 years in a row. We really appreciate it.
Are you kidding? This is again, I think it's the show we like anticipate and look forward to the most. Really, we always do. It's like the day is Brent literally put out something to say today's the day. This morning.
Well, we'll work to keep it fresh for you, and another 12 will be up to your 17 number.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out something because
I'll be in my 90s at that point, so I'm not so sure.
And we're officially retiring the metaverse. We will not speak of it ever again. I don't think. All right, Don. Alan, thank you. We will see you June 7th to the 9th, right?
Looking forward to it.
That is right.
In Vegas.
And it's going to be hot in many ways.
All
Big
right.
hug, sir, for you. I will hug you in person when I see you.
Right, be good, guys.
Take care.
That is always so much fun.
I know. It's literally, I'm not kidding. It's like you just come out so happy when the show's going on. It's just not, that's my favorite. It really is my favorite show.
Well, it's one of those where, we are able to get a lot of really cool people, a lot of people we love to hear from and talk to. Sometimes we get the question, what are you going to talk about? What are you going to ask? That has never been the case.
Never been asked once on that.
Never been the case. And we have never had him. I've never heard him say, Sorry, guys, I just can't answer that. I've never heard that before.
Alan has no problem with anything ever. He really doesn't. I mean, he just goes because he knows what he believes, and he knows what he's saying, and he knows where he's paid attention. Doesn't need to understand what somebody might come at him with. He can handle anything.
Yeah. So once again, PegaWorld, June 7th to the 9th, Vegas. I think it's MGM. Is it?
Yeah, it's the same. MGM Grand again.
MGM, June 7th to 9th. You know what? There's so many good people, customers, but the folks that we get a chance to talk to more than a little, like Elena Ryan, one of our favorites. You know what? There was a post today from Joe Richardson that scared me because it started out like, after 18 years, and I was like, oh no, she cannot be getting ready to leave Pega right before PegaWorld. And thankfully, she's just moving to a new challenge within Pega.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, oh, I wrote, I said, please tell me, you had me scared. She said, no, I will see you and Paul in June.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm not going to conferences anymore, but this is one I really enjoy when I go. And I really do enjoy it. And I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, and we're going to get a chance to see Tara DeWow again.
Yeah, well, she's got some plans for us. She killed it at IRL once again.
Yes, she did.
She's like, anywhere we go with her, she kills it. She just does. It's one of the best people in the entire industry.
She was saying, you really need to talk Elena into me tag teaming with Peter Vanderpoot because we're like buddies. I'm like, oh, sounds good to us. I mean, we'll talk. We'll be talking to Elena to see what we can cook up when we get.
I know Tara has a bunch of ideas on what she wants to do with us. She said, so we'll see what they are.
Yeah, and partially that is giving you some good coffee, apparently. So
yeah. I mean, she is a absolute champ. She's like a super deep kind of coffee connoisseur. And so she recommended this coffee to me from Cafe Vita, V-I-T-A, one called Queen City, which is the one I've had. I bought that. She sent me that about 6 months ago. I'm pretty much out of it now. Another one called Theo, which I haven't opened yet because I'm finishing Queen City. And I'm telling you, it's the best coffee I've ever had in my life. And I'm not anywhere near the connoisseur she is, but wow. Her name is Tara DeWow for a reason.
That she is. All right. So we will be out in PegaWorld doing some recording, maybe some live shows. We'll figure it out. And we will definitely let you know. Ooh, we got LinkedIn user, whoever that is, saying we are ready for you.
Well, somebody from Pega.
I would assume it's somebody from Pega. We will find out.
A really frightening stalker.
We don't have stalkers, so it has to be somebody from Pega. But let me see if I can find out who it is. I can't get to it quick enough. Anyway, we will keep you updated on as things solidify. We actually know what we're going to be doing and who we're going to be talking with. I would love to be able to talk to as many people as possible there. Plus, I have to go. I think I need to do for the third year. I got to go to that technology pavilion because 2 years ago I did my first blueprint, and then last year I did some additional things that they added to it. So I will definitely try to make sure I go and check out whatever they have going on this year. So I have like a trilogy kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, I like that.
The Blueprint Trilogy. That's the name of like a spy book.
The Blueprint Trilogy.
Yeah, it's the name of a book of a spy book.
Who wrote that?
You.
The spy book?
It's John Le Carre or one of these other spy master.
Oh, okay, cool.
Or Robert Ludlum.
Ooh. Whenever I hear his name, I think of Red Rum, which is, from The Shining. The little boy was murder backwards.
Stan.
Anyway, so we will keep you up to date on that. And next week, I believe, because I'm going to New York, I think we're going to be doing a watch party
Watch
for
party, yeah.
Oracle AI World New York City edition.
Yes.
I haven't
We
been to
are.
New York City in a pretty long time, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to the airport though. I'll tell you that right now.
Good luck on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna need it. We'll see how it works out. Anyway, on behalf of Alan Trefler, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM players, and once again, we cannot end until we say hello.
There
to
she
Minnie.
is, our girl.
By the way,
Minnie.
I talked to Minnie's mom yesterday. I think.
Oh yeah,
Yes. Great conversation. She's doing better. So
I know, 50% better.
So we will see you. I guess that's Wednesday or Thursday one. It might be actually Thursday, but a little earlier than usual. It won't be at 3:00. But we'll see you then. We'll let you know. Have a good one.
Keep you posted.